As the final hours of the Paris Olympics, after a few weeks of intense competition, Team South Africa will finish with a tally of 6 medals, the latest addition to the total coming last night. Let's get the latest from the French capital as sports journalist Karien Jonckheere joins us via Zoom. Karien, it has been quite a journey of the Olympics, and from Team South Africa we saw Joanne van Dijk winning silver in the javelin.
Yes, that's right. It's an exciting night for Team South Africa last night. We have to say it was a bit of a surprise medal. Nobody really predicted that. Coming in, she had the 11th furthest throw in the world and ended up with a silver with a throw of 63.93 meters. She admitted afterwards she thought that she would be overtaken, but she never was, and she clinched that medal.
And I mean, that also adds to the tally of what we've seen. And I guess from Team South Africa, a lot to celebrate considering the expectations from the country.
Yes, that's right. We've doubled our medal tally since Tokyo, so that's always good news. Now that Tatiana Smith is retiring, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing in LA because we're relying on her for our gold medals at the moment. But it is definitely something to celebrate, and it's been across different sports, which is also something really good.
Indeed, we have 4 years to make sure that there's swimmers and runners that will take up the mantle from the likes of, indeed, Tatiana come LA. Now, there were no medals for Team South Africa in the women's marathon. We had 3 competitors who really came down in the pecking order there. But conditions were quite tough. But what a thrilling finish by Hassan.
Yes, it was amazing. It was very hot this morning, although by the time they finished, it wasn't quite so hot yet. But yeah, that coming down to a sprint finish, which was quite incredible. And a bit of argy-bargy before the sprint finish. There was actually an appeal after the race, but it was unsuccessful by the Ethiopians. But yeah, Sifan Hassan winning that gold medal to add to her 2 bronze medals from the 5,000 and 10,000 meters. Just incredible.
And I mean, if you look at that performance of Sifan Hassan in this Olympics and what she's trying to achieve, it's almost superhuman that 36 hours before that, she was running in the 10,000 and not only ran, but managed to grab a podium finish.
It is absolutely incredible. I'm not sure what her physio does, but whatever it is, it's absolutely miraculous.
And I mean, looking at South Africa and how our team performed, you had experienced Yvette van Zyl there. You've got the darling of South African running in Gerda Steyn. I mean, what did you make of their performance?
It's an interesting one because all of them came into this marathon with different goals. I don't think realistically they were expecting to be up there in the medals. For Yvette van Zyl, her main goal was to finish this marathon. She's been to 4 Olympics and never finished a marathon. So she was in tears afterwards. She was just so happy to have achieved that dream, to have finished. She's obviously struggled with a lot of injury in the past, so she was really proud of herself, and Shaun Oldknow as well. She only ran her first international marathon earlier this year. So I think she's really one to watch for the future. Gerda's had a phenomenal year, winning 2 Oceans and Comrades in course record times. Maybe this was one too far. She said it didn't take a toll on her body, though. She said she just had an off day today and she wasn't feeling great. But yeah, I think they were all pretty happy afterwards.
And I mean, she did run her season best today in the Olympic marathon, Gerda Steyn. So clearly something that she can celebrate.
Yes, for sure. She hasn't run many normal marathons this year. There've been a lot of ultras, but yeah, she was pleased afterwards and proud of her teammates as well.
Now, looking generally at, as we draw, looking ahead to the closing ceremony, what are some of the moments that stood out for you, not only from Team South Africa, Karien, but generally in the whole entire Olympics?
Sure, it's been a crazy, hectic 16 days. I think I'm going to take a few days to really reflect back on that. But I think obviously Tatiana's performances in the pool, she's had a hard 3 years since the last Olympics, getting herself back into form, having a lot of pressure on her, a lot of expectation and managing to perform. So that was really exciting. Obviously, Akani Simbine finally getting his hands on an Olympic medal in that relay. also from an African perspective, Letsile Tebogo winning that 200-meter gold medal, that was absolutely incredible. Also, someone like Faith Kipyegon winning the 1,500 meters last night for the 3rd straight Olympics. What a phenomenal woman. So, yeah, so many highlights to look back on. Someone like Alan Hatherley as well, coming and winning a medal in mountain biking, which is, something really special.
And I mean, the other point is how we've seen African sprinters really making their mark in this Olympics, as we just mentioned. I mean, Akani, you also have Letsile Tebogo, who's a 200-meter champion. But also, if you look at even the finals, there were many Africans that made it to the finals. So clearly it means that there's a bit of a paradigm shift in terms of sprinting, because generally we're used to Africans in the longer distances.
Yes, absolutely. 4 African sprinters in the final of the 200 meters, just phenomenal. We had 2 in the 100-meter final. So, and then also Samu Konga from Zambia coming through, winning that bronze medal in the 400 meters. So it's not only, you know, the 100s and 200s, but up a level as well. So it's really, it's exciting to see.
In terms of the conditions, I mean, if you look at leading up to this, there was expectation of faster times, people talking about the Mondo track. I mean, if you've seen how the Mondo track was, if you look at some of the previous competitions, even the world champs, we're seeing faster times. But what were athletes saying about the conditions and just the facilities generally from what you have seen?
It's interesting because we asked Akani about the track the first night he ran on it, and he was like, yeah, it's a track. He didn't seem to think it was too different from any others. When we spoke to Ioane last night after her silver medal, you don't often think of javelin throwers being affected by the track, but obviously their run-up is on that same track, and she was saying she was expecting the distances to be much further because of the speed of the track. But they weren't. So, I think mixed reactions to it. Obviously, we saw Sydney McLaughlin breaking a phenomenal world record in the 400-meter hurdle. So, it's, mixed reactions.
In terms of the facilities generally, Karien, you have covered, as we mentioned previously, I think this is your 5th, if not 6th Olympics that you've covered. How did Paris perform in terms of facilities generally?
It's been a great Olympics. I think also coming from Tokyo, where it was such a strange and quiet and, no crowds and all of that, to come here and to have had this response from the French people. The facilities have been amazing. The crowds have been amazing. I mean, the level of sound when their athletes are competing is just incredible. And I think they've been really great hosts as well. We're ending off this games with a really good feeling.
But let's touch on that, the issue of support. I mean, from watching from television, it looks like the fans did really come in their numbers. I mean, expected 70,000 plus people to fill up the stadium tonight at the closing ceremony. We've seen also in some of the competitions where the stadiums were sold out. You look at the football stadiums also, it was capacity. Would you say that the fans did really come out, the French and others come out to support these games?
Yes, absolutely. They have been coming out in their numbers. I mentioned their support for the French, but there's also a lot of support from other European countries. Obviously, they're really close by, from Britain, from Germany, from, all the countries around here. And then also the USA. We've heard a lot of crowd cheering for them. I think there's been maybe because people missed out 3 years ago in Tokyo, they've been out in their numbers this time around.
And I heard that I think since London 2012, it's possibly the biggest in terms of numbers that people have come out to support. So clearly something that the French will be happy about. And just as we end this conversation, Karien, the closing ceremony is happening in a short while. I mean, what can we expect? I know that I think the medals for the marathon will be given out tonight at the closing ceremony. But what else can we expect tonight at the closing ceremony?
Yes, that's right. That's always one of the traditions at the closing ceremony, that the marathoners get their medals. We've heard Tom Cruise is making an appearance. Obviously, Paris handing over to LA for 2028. So we've heard he might be around. We've heard different names of bands that might be playing. So we've heard Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg, Red Hot Chili Peppers, even heard Taylor Swift being mentioned, Beyonce. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, our team is going to be led out. Well, those who are left are going to be led out by Tatiana Smith. The swimmers are usually long gone by this stage of the Olympics, but she's had a nice holiday in Paris with her family, and she'll be enjoying the closing tonight.
Karien, thank you so much for coming through to speak to us. Hopefully you will enjoy some of that action too at the closing ceremony of the Paris 2024